Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the first video related to my new Sig P365. This is actually new to me. It is a previously owned firearm. It's one that I've been wanting to add to my EDC rotation for a while. I'm basically grabbing this to replace the XDS 45 I've been carrying just because I want some more capacity. And 9mm come a long way since I bought that 45. And yeah, there's much better defensive round options. So anyway, I picked this thing up off of one of the online auctions. Got a pretty good deal on it. It was listed as pre-owned. It does have some wear, as you can see, like from being holstered on some of the controls and on the grip. So it definitely was used by somebody. But as I'll show you in a little bit, when you look inside, it looks like this thing's barely been fired. Everything is very clean. There's minimal signs of wear on the slide, the barrel, all that stuff. The company I bought it from, they tend to sell a lot of police turn-ins. So I have a feeling this was an officer's backup weapon, and then they, traded it in or something like that. But I mean, you look at the magazine has very minimal sign of wear. From rounds being pushed through it and whatnot. So thinking this is a pretty low use weapon, but I am going to still do a full detail strip on it, clean everything out, make sure there's no issues, maybe do a little polish work or whatever, depending on how things look inside, and go from there. So just wanted to, get you up to speed on what the plan is, and I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this firearm. All right, so I'm going to start with the basic field strip here so you can see, how the thing looks. Like I said, it's got some wear on, the exposed parts just from going in and out of the holster. First thing we're going to do is, validate that we are clear, which, see down there, no magazine, nothing in there, clear the hole, we're good to go. So, like any other SIG, flip down, and release. It's good to go. Slide is off. Now here you can see, there is very little sign of wear on this, any of these moving parts, that are in contact with other parts. So it looks like this has seen barely any use over its life. And you look at the top of the barrel, looks really nice there. Pull out the recoil spring and remove the barrel. And you can see on the feed ramp, barely any signs of use. Everything here looks really nice. Very little wear on that, as well as the back of the breech. There's very little you can see there as well. So it definitely looks like this was a very, very lightly used firearm, mostly probably just, like I said, a backup carry for a police officer, and saw very little range use. So I'm pretty happy with, for what I paid for it, what I got. So that is the slide and everything torn apart there. Next I'm going to do is pull out the fire control unit from the grip module. Unlike a 320 where you pull this out and then it pops up and out, on this there's a little pin here that you need to push all the way through. Once you do that, it's the reverse. It kind of pulls up and out from behind. So you just go ahead, get a tool. I'm going to use my little Glock punch and just push the pin through. It's got a little retainer clip on it, so sometimes it goes through from one side, sometimes from the other. There you go. So you'll see it pops through, and it's got little catches on it because there's a little spring clip that catches it. And once you pull it all the way through like that, and you can see just how dirty it is. So that's another sign that this is just seeing a lot of pocket carry or, limited use from that aspect. But once you do that, you can just pull up and the fire control unit comes out just like that. All right, so looking at the grip module, looks, not too much debris in here, so that's not bad. You can see just a little bit of fuzz and dust and dirt from, like I said, most likely being pocket carried, in certain areas where you wouldn't be able to clean it out. And then similar with the fire control unit, you can see kind of on the back of the trigger there and a little bit here and there. but not too bad. So all in all, this thing, like I said, is in a really good condition and has minimal signs of use other than holster wear. So what I was planning on doing was taking this down bit by bit and just going through and cleaning things up as much as possible before I put this into service. So just to kind of give you an idea of how the safeties and things work on the SIG, and this is also similar to 320, there is a no-fire type of mechanism in here for when the magazine is out and you put the takedown lever down. It actually pushes on this, and this is basically a disconnect to the sear. What's holding it in place right now is the slide lock lever. If you push it up, then you can go ahead and push this back up, and now it would be actually a working fire control unit. If you were to cock it, you can get it to actually go back, whereas when it's locked like this, the trigger, it doesn't do anything, it stops right there. So just kind of an idea of how the safeties work on these SIGs. Just real quick from the top view, here again is with the safety engaged. You can see sear doesn't move at all. And with it disengaged, you have the functionality of the sear. So I have started the teardown process of the fire control unit, and this is a pretty ingenious design. You want to talk about minimalistic, keeping everything together, and a solid setup. So basically what I've done so far is pulled out the trigger spring, which this goes in between here and the back of this bar here. It clips into it. I basically just used a pair of needle nose pliers and was able to pull it out of the actual trigger bar here and work it up and around, and then it came out from this side because it goes through here and kind of sits in this little channel. Once that was out, I was able to pull the trigger bar aside, and this piece here, which goes up and down in that channel there, came out. And then that exposed the pin that I started pushing through out this side, and it goes in right here, and it is this piece, which kind of acts as a stop. And it holds in that top pin, which is the hammer pin or the sear pin, and it also is the stop for this safety. Once you take this out, this part of the firing pin safety will come out as well, because it's hinged on that pin and sticks up through here. Then everything else pretty much falls apart, because that was what was keeping this from coming back too far. This is that safety lever I was describing before. That now comes out. Once that is out, you can go ahead and start removing everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything torn down, but that's pretty much what holds in the takedown lever, and the takedown lever is what holds in the trigger and the trigger bar, and you should be able to just pull this out from this side. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting it stripped down. Alright, and the fire control unit is pretty much completely stripped down. The only thing I left in is just the spring for the takedown lever, or the slide stop lever, just because I didn't want to mess it up trying to get it out. But as far as getting the trigger out, there's a pin right here that you need to push out from. That's basically the hole in the side of the trigger right here. So you need a small punch. Once you push that out, you can get enough movement on the trigger to slide it up enough where you can get the bar off of it. And once the bar is off of it, you're able to wiggle it out. It kind of comes out at a weird angle, but that comes out no problem. And then as far as the sear assembly goes, same thing. There's a pin. You push it out from this side, it'll come out here, and then that'll just drop out. And then the slide stop lever basically just rests in that little notch there, so it's pretty easy to just wiggle it over the spring, get that out, and that's really all the bits and pieces. So the next step in the process, I'm going to go ahead, clean this up, and start cleaning up all the parts that go into it, maybe do a little polish work on things. I just got to check them out once they're clean, see how they look, and I will go from there. So it is the next day. What I did is I did go through all of these internal parts, clean them up, and went over them with some super quick clean gun. This is like a micro lubricant cleaner, all-in-one type of thing. I loaded up pretty good just to let everything soak in really nice into all the metal parts, so it's definitely looking a lot better now. And going over all the parts and looking at things, there's a few of them where they show wear marks, like here on the trigger bar, you can see kind of some marks where it was rubbing on things. So what I'm probably going to do in the next video, I'm going to probably end this one here because it's gone on long enough, is do a little bit of polish work on some of these parts that may rub and have, like, touch points and whatnot, just to try and, see if I can smooth things out a little more. I mean, the trigger in this is pretty good as is, but, might as well clean it up as much as possible while it's apart. I'm not going to do anything crazy because, again, this is going to be a carry gun. I don't want to, mess things up or anything like that or make anything too sensitive. So, yeah. So I'm going to end this one here. Next video will have me continuing on and just, doing a little bit of polish work, cleaning things up, and then I will walk through the reassembly of the fire control unit. So if you want to follow along, please hit like, please hit subscribe, please hit the notification bell. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I do review them and I will reply. I do have another channel devoted to my cars, so if you have any interest in automotive stuff, go ahead, check it out. There is a link in the description of this video. And that being said, thank you for watching and have a great day.